Welcome to the Collective Experience by the BrwnGrlz Collective, a dynamic platform where we celebrate innovation, creativity, and the power of Black excellence. Each episode, we sit down with change makers, visionary industry leaders, and groundbreaking entrepreneurs across the worlds of fashion, tech, education, business, and more. This is more than just an interview series. It is a space where stories are shared, wisdom is exchanged, and inspiration flows. Together, we are building a community that thrives on collaboration, empowerment, and the drive to uplift one another. So get ready to meet these women redefining industries and shaping the future. This is the Collective Experience, where we take center stage. Secure your legacy today with Ashley Myers Jackson Law Firm, your trusted partner for your estate planning needs.
Welcome to the Collective Experience, brought to you by BrwnGrlz Collective, your space for inspiration and connection. I'm your host, Jasmine. Today, we're excited to introduce Ashley Jackson, founder of Myers Jackson Law Firm, a practice built on the principles of love, compassion, and community. Inspired by her upbringing in a family that valued marketing and impact, Ashley carried these lessons to Spelman College, where she deepened her connection to her identity and culture. After earning her degree from Toledo College of Law and gaining experience in a corporate firm, Ashley chose to forge her own path, creating a law firm that feels more like family. As a wife and a mother to Corian, Cash, Anshawn, and Ashlyn, Ashley's family values are at the heart of everything she does. A proud country girl with big dreams, she's committed to helping as many people as possible with building lasting relationships and making a meaningful impact in her community. How are you today?
I'm doing well. It's a Monday morning, so as smooth as a Monday can go. It's been going well though.
You're right about that. It's a Monday morning, but we're gonna make it do what it's supposed to do, right?
That's it.
We're gonna go ahead and play a little game called This or That. So we're gonna spin this wheel and see what we get.
All right. All right.
All right.
Do I have do I have to do it like right away? Chicken or shrimp? Yeah, so actually the answer is easy for me. It's shrimp.
Okay.
I am not a chicken girl, but I'm not bougie either. So let's just make it clear. It's
Okay.
shrimp only because there's no other option. I like chicken, but I only like certain people's chicken. I've never really been into it too much. So we're gonna go with shrimp on that.
Okay. I like them both, so it really doesn't matter to me. But I guess if I had to pick just to think if I had to eat that all the time, it might be chicken.
Yeah, although I would. A lot. Chicken, if my mama was cooking it every day,
right?
Yes, but I'm not buying it from anywhere. I'd eat it if my mama makes it. Otherwise, I'm good on it.
What about if you make it?
Nobody would want it if I made it. So let's just make that real clear.
Okay. Point taken. Let's spin the wheel again. $50-50 or 50-50 or fit the bill or let them pay.
Honestly, it depends on who I'm with. But I am a giver. I will say that I like to be able to give to people. So more than likely it would be me trying to foot the bill, but I'm very grateful and gracious enough to have good friends who kind of reciprocate that. So it's probably me trying to foot the bill. Now, whether or not that happens, we'll see.
So basically you try, but not every time it works out that way.
It doesn't work every time.
That's okay. I'd rather somebody else pay for it, ain't gonna lie. But I will pay for it myself. That's not a problem. I like to eat. So if I went out, I'm gonna eat. So it don't matter. Whether you pay for
I
it or
hear
not,
you.
get what I want. So my dad always tell me, don't you go nowhere without no money. So
That's it. Because you never know.
you never know. So I'm always good, but I'd much rather somebody else pay for it. But let's spin the wheel one more time.
All right.
Okay, makeup or no makeup? What's your
Yeah,
preference?
that's easy too. No makeup for me. I don't even know how to do makeup, so that's the hard part for me. I can do liner, a
Mm-hmm.
little, face powder, but that's about it for me. So I will say no makeup. But for those of your people in your collective that knows how to do it and who's willing to train someone, please let me know. I'm open.
Okay, you willing to learn?
Yes.
Okay. I know how to do makeup. I used to do it all the time, and now I'm just over it. So I'd rather just I do my brows, of course. I'm my lashes, but I can't. It's just way too much work.
Girl,
Yeah.
I just am not good at it. I'm not good at the girly stuff. I've been
Yeah.
working on it, but
Hmm.
not that good at it.
You look fine. You don't need no makeup,
Well, I
girl.
appreciate that.
You're welcome. You are beautiful.
Major love to our sponsors for stepping in to make all of this happen. Special shout out to Jason Sumter of Exit Realty. Call him for your home buying and financial needs. IAS Games for family and friend game nights. Out the Barns Entertainment for your video editing needs. Camera Guys Inc. for video photography and your editing needs. Intro music by Sedasia and music provided by Drado. Your contributions keep us going and help us grow.
So, okay, so we are going to do the introspective. So, what is one misconception about your job field or your job title? Like, what is one misconception that people may have about it?
Um, I don't know if it's necessarily a misconception, but what I hear often about lawyers is that they are unapproachable. They are, not really comfortable to be around. They have certain airs about themselves. And again, I don't know if that's a misconception or if that's just really what certain people feel. But I know as it pertains to me as a
Mm-hmm.
lawyer, it is, in fact, a misconception.
Okay. And have you ever like experienced something where you felt like you need to explain that besides being outright asked that question?
No, actually. In fact, I get told by my clients and by people who know me in general that I don't come off like a lawyer. And I will say, well, why do you say that? And they say, because you
Right.
seem like you're very approachable. I mean, you're down to earth. You feel like my cousin or my sister or my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's the feeling that I love to feel. So, and I don't purposely set out to be that way. I just am what I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know based on those types of conversation, um, the misconceptions that people tend to place on me before they know me.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. I know you went to Spelman College. Um
Hmm.
I remember growing up always like I know this is not a real school, but I used to watch the Cosby Show and Hillman. But you always think about I always thought about Spelman as because I knew that wasn't a real school. Um and I always thought like if I ever did go to college, like that would be like a school that I would love to go to. So like what was your experience there?
Spelman actually was one of the decisions, and I say this all the time, a decision that I made as a child that I would make over and over and over again. That was one of the best decisions of my life. I've known I wanted to go to Spelman since I was 6 years old. I had a cousin graduate from there when I was about 5 or 6, and I went and visited. And I mean, to me, Spelman was like heaven. It was a bunch of beautiful Black women, educated, confident. And I saw myself in those women as a child. And I just knew this is where I wanted to go. In fact, it was the only school I applied to until my father made me apply to one other school. In my mind, I wasn't going anywhere if it wasn't Spelman. And much like you, I watched a different world consistently as a child, just with the mindset that, oh, one of these days I will be there, because I did realize that that was actually Spelman's campus that they were showing.
Right.
And I actually stayed in one of the dorms that they showed. So
What?
like the house dorm that they would show the picture of, I stayed in that dorm. So my Spelman experience, I made lifetime friends. And there's just a confidence that you gain as a Black woman just being around that many different types of Black women. It's you can't explain it. You just have to experience it. It's very difficult to explain. So I would do it 10 times over.
I bet. I know that was a good time.
It was.
I know it was a good time. Of course you learn things, but it was a good time, I'm sure.
It was.
Just having all those different personalities, and it's college still, so
yeah.
So are you still, and you said you made like lifelong friends, so you're still friends with some of the people that you went to college with and everything?
Yeah, my best friend, she actually came down and visited this summer. She lives in Boston. She has 2 children of her own now and is married to. She came and visited me this summer, and we try to talk it, every week or so. But life gets busy. But yeah, my friends, I'm still closely connected. And that sisterhood goes beyond just your class. I mean, it's a lot of girls that I'm still connected with that I met even after the fact, or, they were out of Spelman before I even got there, and I still have connections with them. So it's a great group of women.
That's great. All right. So Ashley, we're going to go ahead and dive into these questions.
Okay.
So passion and identity. What inspired you to start your journey, and how does your personal story connect with the work you do today?
Yeah, I think I have an interesting story from the standpoint of, the whole lawyer phase. I knew I wanted to do that since I was a child, but as it pertains to what I do now, I feel like it was, in fact, a journey. I thought I would be more interested in corporate work, and I did that for about 3 years, and I learned a lot about myself in that space, more than I did about, the industry and that type of legal work. I learned that I am not the type of lawyer who is who does well in a corporate setting. I like helping look like me, even though I don't limit myself to that group of people. But it is very important to me to be impactful in the community that raised me. That's a big deal for me. And when I branched out on my own, I realized that there's an area that is very much so untapped in this community, and that's the estate and probate sector. We end up losing a lot of land that our ancestors worked very hard for because we simply don't know things about this area of the law. When I first started practicing on my own, I had several families come to me and ask me to assist them with clearing heirs' property. And that is a very expensive and tedious thing to do. But it's so easy to fix that on the front end if you have the right documents in place and you have the proper education on what to do with these documents once the time comes to use them. And so instead of me just being frustrated about the fact that these things weren't getting done, I just felt like it would be more helpful to be the voice that helps get it done, or the vehicle for getting it done. And like I said before, the way that we communicate in our community, I think it's good to have a messenger that looks like your community come
Right.
into it and say, hey, these are the things we should do, and here's why. And if y'all ain't doing it, I'm gonna tell you why you need to be doing it. And I can say that in a way that is very different than someone who doesn't look like me. So my passion for what I do now kind of stemmed, it just kind of happened. I wasn't necessarily seeking it, but it just kind of happened.
So when you started law school, like, did you know what like sector you wanted to go into, or you just like whatever happens?
Yeah, when I started law school, I think I had an idea about what a lawyer was, much like other people. I thought, suited
Well,
every
not
day.
what a lawyer was or is, but like, did you think that you were going to be like a criminal lawyer or you know what I'm saying? Like,
I thought I would be a corporate lawyer. I thought that I
Okay.
was going to be someone who literally worked in a big law firm, made good money, dressed a certain way every day, all day. And I thought corporate was my space.
Gotcha.
But that's because I think I really didn't know a whole lot about myself. When I was at that phase of my life, it was very much so a box ticking type of thing. It was, okay, go to this school, do this, become this, work at this type of firm. Like it was a check the box. It wasn't,
Right.
what is it that Ashley is looking to do? And so that corporate experience really taught me about Ashley, not necessarily about the lawyer, but about Ashley and what my personality would, how best my personality would suit this job, not really the job making my personality, if that makes sense.
Behind the scenes, there's a lot of hard work that goes into this production, and we couldn't do it without our amazing sponsors, advertisers, and crew.
So we're going to get into the next question. What sets your business or initiative apart, and how does it impact your community or industry?
Yeah, I think the thing that sets my business apart is I recognize my lane. I recognize what I, as a person, bring to this community. My firm is a firm that I feel like is more like a family structure. When people come into my office, they immediately will say, oh, wow, this feels so comfortable, or they're very relaxed being here. So that's the difference between me and I think some of my counterparts. But that's because that fits who I am. I have learned to be authentically what I am. Everybody can't be me, and I can't be other people. And so I think the difference between my business and other people's is, again, I recognize who I am, what I am, and I naturally will attract the clients who are looking for that. So that's what makes my firm different. And I feel like, again, that impacts my community because that's what's needed, I believe, in this space for my community.
Right. So I do want to just ask you again. So explain to me what I know you said what type of lawyer you are, but like, what do you do exactly? Like, how do you help people in the community?
I got you. Yeah, so we assist clients with preparing for incapacity, and we also assist clients with preparing for the transition, basically once you pass away. So we're helping our families understand how to maintain assets while they're living and how to properly pass those things along once they're gone. We have a big disconnect, I think, in our community from, reality and then the legal side of things. We assume that things are just going to happen like it stems in our mind without legal documents. If you are incapacitated and don't have the capability of making decisions for yourself, taking care of your bills, making sure that expenses and things are still handled, that business in itself is still handled, medical decisions are handled, just because you're married to someone does not mean that entities are going to allow that person to make decisions for you without some sort of legal documentation. Or just
Right.
because you have a child that's in the oldest child does not mean that your doctor is just going to allow this person to make decisions for you just because of the positioning they're in your family. That might be
Mm-hmm.
how things work practically in your house, but that is not how things are going to legally function if you cannot make decisions for yourself. So I help my clients understand how to put certain people in positionings to help them in the event that they cannot help themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
essentially, I tell them you're remaining in control and you're making that decision while you're in control and able to do
Right.
so. And then on the flip side of that, I'm also assisting them with understanding how to properly pass along whatever wealth they might have. And again, and when I say wealth, I don't mean you have to be wealthy. I mean whatever you worked hard for,
Mm-hmm.
how to pass those things along properly. We want to make sure that you're passing things along to the proper people, not just, well, my son gonna be mad if he don't get it. Well, then is he the right person, ma'am, or is he not? And so
Right.
and here's why I think you might want to make a different decision or think about your decision making.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm here to be that voice of reason, and then to also be able to put the legal documents in place for people who will ultimately have these experiences.
Right. Yeah. And that's something that you should have done like early. Like if you have a family, that's stuff that you should definitely make sure you take care of, so that, because you never know what happens, and you just want to make sure that everything goes the way that you would like them to go should something happen. So
Yeah, and if I may, I want to you brought up a very good point when you said these are things you should have early, especially if you have a family. These are
mm-hmm.
things that if you're an 18, a legal adult, you should have these things in place whether you have a family or not, because no legal adult will be in a position for someone else to just make a decision for them. I tell parents all the time, I'm like, your baby goes to sleep one night, he's 17, he's your child, you can make every decision under the sun. He wakes up the next morning and he's a full-fledged adult, but he's still a
Mm-hmm.
child, and he still
Right.
needs assistance, he still needs your help, he still needs your guidance. And without these documents, the likelihood of you being able to do that very smoothly is very slim. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody over the 18 and older needs some format of a plan. It may not look like mine or
Right.
yours, but
Mm-hmm.
they need a plan.
Right. Okay. So the next question is going to be, what is your why? So what keeps you motivated even when, things get tough?
I think my why is my family, my kids. And I know that sounds very cliche, but it's true. My
Mm-hmm.
children they are my why. I have 3 sons and a daughter. And I will say my daughter really is she's my motivating factor. My sons are too, but I think it's something about seeing your mom in a certain capacity. For boys and girls, to be honest, I think it's important for them to see you in a certain light. They see me every day helping people. They know what I do. I explain it to them in ways that they can understand. They know exactly what I do. And so they understand that mommy gets up every day, does what she needs to do for us, and then she goes out and helps other people do some of the things that we're doing in our family. We sit with our kids on a daily basis. We have a dinner with them, and we discuss financial principles. We discuss order. We discuss family values, and all of this is a part of what I do. I'm not just teaching people how to pass along assets, but I'm teaching
Yeah.
people how to also pass along good habits, good financial habits, and also good cultural experiences. All of this stuff is what you're passing along. So
Right.
my kids get to see me do all the things that we're teaching them. They get to see me help other people do that too. And so they are my motivating factor. They are what keeps me going. And I'm not just saying it to be cliche. I really mean that.
I don't think that's cliche at all. I mean, most of the time when you have kids, that's what you do it for. Like you get up in the morning for your kids. You know what I'm saying? You do a lot for your kids, and you want them to, be proud of you and all that good stuff. So like, I don't think it's cliche at all. I think it makes perfect sense.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's cliche. I mean, I say the same thing. I don't have kids. I have a son, but now he has, grandbaby, 2 kids, or 1 on the way.
Wow.
So, I gotta, make sure they're good too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it.
Awesome.
So,
And you don't look like a G-Ma, by the way.
yeah, girl, that boy made me a Gmail way too early, and it's ghetto here, but whatever. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, he did, but it's all it is what it is. He's the baby is amazing, Coda. Shout out to Coda. But yeah, I love it.
Awesome.
All right, so we got to get into this next question. Legacy and impact. What impact do you hope to make in life, and how do you see your legacy inspiring other Black and brown women to pursue their dreams?
Yeah, that's a great question. I hope that my legacy is one where our community recognizes me as a voice for change or a tool for change. And I think that's happening. Like I speak a lot on the topic of estate planning and probate, and I do it at no cost because I feel like this is what I'm leaving behind for my community. This is how I contribute back to my community. So I hope that my community recognizes that and sees that as the impact or the legacy or the impact that I have on them. As far as the legacy and how I feel like I want to be an impact for other Black lawyers, especially female lawyers, I would like to be able to expand even my practice to a point where I bring in young lawyers that look like me, that I can kind of help direct in that arena, or just help find their own lane, their own space, whatever that might be. That's kind of the legacy that I feel I want to leave behind. I want to create a space where young Black lawyers, particularly women, can be comfortable in their skin, can gain levels of confidence, and go out into this world that doesn't look a whole lot like us, especially in the legal profession, and be confident in that. Right. So it's a lot of us out here, but I think we're few and far in between. It's spread out, and I would like to at some point, bring it to a place where we do have a good solid group that we can rely on and encourage each other. So that's kind of the legacy I see myself leaving at some point.
Do you see any lawyers in your kids? Do you see that in any of them?
I see lawyer tendencies.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see tendencies. One of my sons in particular, he can talk his way out of anything, I'm serious. And I'm like, son, I know the answer. I know what happened. Like, don't try to convince me. Okay. Yeah. And he will carry it to the end. So I do see that in them, but I feel like all of my children have a relatability about them that I feel is good for lawyers. They are able to connect with people very well. They don't meet strangers. And so I feel like they have a lot of the natural things that people look for, whether that's in being a lawyer or even, entrepreneurial skills, just the ability to connect with people and be confident in that. All of my kids have that. And so I think that if, again, they each have little tendencies where I'm like, yeah, I can see you being a lawyer, but I can also see them being whatever else they want to be. And so as parents, as a mom, I push them to kind of learn who they are, because I think that's the most important thing in life, period. Once you learn who you are, it's easier to decide what you want to be.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, it's hard trying to figure out what you want to be when you have absolutely no idea who you are. It's hard
Yes,
because
yes.
then you will end up doing something that you know you ain't got no business doing. Like this is not you. You
Yeah,
just did it because somebody else was doing it, or it looked cool, or you know what I'm saying. Has nothing to do
yeah.
with
Yeah,
yeah.
but as kids, I think and even as adults, I feel like, sometimes we make decisions that are not necessarily always the greatest. But I do
Hmm.
think once we decide who we are, I think we can even carve our own lane sometimes in spaces
Yeah,
that we didn't ultimately intend to be in. And I think
absolutely.
that's really what I want to instill in my children. I don't care what you decide to do, you
Hmm.
have the power to control certain situations.
Right.
Especially when you have that thing in yourself or that confidence in yourself. And
Hmm.
sometimes the thing to do is to just leave. But then there are other times where you can carve lanes of your own and be confident in that too.
Absolutely. All right. So our next one is paying it forward. So, what's one piece of advice or wisdom you would share with the next woman stepping into this space? And what's one question you would love to ask her?
I think the thing that I would tell a young woman stepping into this space is, and I know I keep saying the same thing, but this is important to me,
Mhm.
be authentically you. Be authentically you. Be confident in that, whether it's how you want to wear your hair, how you want to style your clothes,
Mhm.
saying what it is that you want to say. I think being authentically you is the best thing you can do for yourself and for this world. God made us who we are for a reason.
Right.
It's your gift to the world, and it's also your gift to yourself to be
Mhm.
authentically you.
Right.
Now, that does not mean that we don't tailor ourselves on occasion, but at the end of the day, you need to represent the you that God made you. So that's the one piece of advice that I would give if it were the only piece I could give. And then the question that I would ask her is what steps have you taken to
Mm.
discover yourself? And if you have not, you should take the time to do that. And you should take the time to do that as early as you can, when there's not a whole lot of life going on. When
Mhm.
you're young in college, you ain't got no kids, you got no
Right.
husband, you ain't got none of that going on. That's the time to learn yourself, because even with, once you think there's still growing and evolution
Yeah.
that will happen over time. But the more
Absolutely.
you can learn about yourself without all the distractions of the world and personal life, I think that's the time. So I would ask her, have you taken the steps, or what steps have you taken to get to know you?
Mm-hmm. Y'all hear that clock? What steps have you taken, honey? All right. So, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, Ashley. We're so grateful to have you here. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Um, you know, I don't know if we've had too many lawyers that I've talked to. Um, but I didn't even know about this. So that's like there was a lawyer that did this. So that's great. I'm sure there's other people out there who didn't know. So if you didn't know, make sure if you need those things done, you need to make sure you have everything in order. Make sure you get a lawyer like Miss Ashley Jackson. Okay. Or Miss Ashley Jackson if you in where you at, Ashley?
I'm actually located in Northeast Columbia. Our
Okay.
address is 115 Atrium Way. We're off of Two Notch Road. And like I said, we assist clients with the whole gamut of it. So if you need powers of attorney done, if you
Mm.
need your will done, or even trust, we do those too. We can assist with that. Or if you have a loved one that's transitioned and you need assistance with the probate process, we can assist with that too. So, but we just honestly, we love helping families. And I do think this is not an area that should be DIY'd, even though a lot of the world will tell you that. Your specific situation is unique to you.
Mhm.
And it's best to sit down with a professional to discuss those things.
Absolutely. So yeah, you guys make sure you get that taken care of. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. It's been real, Brown Girls. We'll see you later. All right.
Take care, guys.
Thank you to our advertisers, sponsors, and everyone who made it possible. And of course, thank you for tuning in and being part of the Brown Girls family. See you next time.
Oh girl, I love you just like Mary Jane. I give you everything. Damn, I hope you feel the same. Come and make it better just like Mary Jane. Oh girl, I can't complain. I need your touch, can't get enough. Come and beat me up, it's just like Mary Jane. From the middle of the club, you say you running low again. Won't let me fill your cup. I got some papers in my section and some fonts in the tuck. She been calling me Spliff Daddy, baby. Please don't gas me up. You can keep your mask. I don't want time with that. Tryna know your heart by the time we start, baby. Ain't no hiding facts. Maybe if you with it, we can start a tab. Break down them walls, you can let me in. I can be your quarterback. Come on, put our team right on the map. Oh girl, I love you just like Mary